welcome to my channel. My name is Jewel, and my channel is Just Being Jewel, where I, Jewel, just being me, talk about all the books that I'm reading, want to read, and enjoying. And in this month of March 2022, I am specifically going to be talking about my TBR. I have 4 books that I want to read and 1 comic that I want to read. And I'm specifically trying to keep it pretty light on myself because I have a huge life event happening. I'm moving from Ohio to Tampa, Florida for a job opportunity, and moving across the country is pretty intense. So I don't want to overload my plate with stuff, but I do still want to prioritize reading because it's something that I enjoy and it helps me de-stress. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of stress when you move your entire life across the country and you've never done it before. So let's go ahead and get started with all the books that I hope to read. The first one here is The Good, the Bad, and the Undead by Kim Harrison. This book is the second book in the Hollows trilogy, or Hollows series. It's not a trilogy, it's a series. The Hollows series. And I have to read this first because it's a library book. And it's due back at the library before I move. So I need to get this done probably by like the 7th or 8th of the month. And it is the second book, as I said, in the Hollows series. And the Hollows series is about this girl, Rachel, who is a bounty hunter who hunts sort of the big bad, go bump in the night sort of supernatural creatures of the world, especially the ones that have gone rogue. And she's actually roommates with a vampire who has not gone rogue. So it's an interesting dynamic. She also, in the backyard of their place that they rent, is a little like pixie fairy that also joins her and helps her on her missions. So the first one in the series was not super great for me. I thought it was pretty average, but I liked the setup that they did for potential future series. So I'm hoping that if I keep reading this, I'll fall into it. It is an urban fantasy, and I really like urban fantasies. I like the mix of modern day sort of city stuff and the fantastical and the supernatural. So I'm going to keep reading this and see how I like it. The second book I hope to read is going to be Language of Thorns. This is actually on my February TBR as a bonus book, and I didn't get to it. I totally overshot that. I did not finish reading it. I didn't even start reading it. But I did read recently King of Scar and Rule of Wolves, and I'm all about the Grishaverse all over again. I took a large break from them, and I did not read King of Scars or Rule of Wolves when they originally came out, and I was really underwhelmed by the Netflix series. I think they didn't do a very good job of it, so I just kind of wasn't feeling the Grishaverse, and it completely changed with Rule of Wolves and King of Scars. I love them. Nikolai, Zoya, yes, my babies. And I'm excited to read Language of Thorns. My understanding is Language of Thorns is actually a novel that is like the folklore of that world. So it's specifically like, if I lived in that world and we're reading a book, like this is the folklore from that I would be reading. So it is a signed copy, which is pretty cool. It's surprising that I haven't read it. And I will also say that it looks gorgeous inside. Look at all of the illustration. Oh my gosh, I'm here for it. I love pretty stuff. And even the cover, once you take the dust jacket off, is beautiful. So I should enjoy this book and its beauty. It is pretty short, so it should be easy to get to. The next book that I plan to read in March is going to be Abhorsen by Garth Nix. This is the 3rd book in the Abhorsen series. And I think I incorrectly said in another video that the Abhorsen series was like, you could read them individually and they still make sense. I think I lied about that because I just finished Lyriel last month, which I'll talk more about in my wrap-up video. And Lyriel is definitely leaves off on a cliffhanger, and Abhorsen is absolutely the next one. So I'm excited to read it because I enjoy this series. It is about a necromancer who has these bells that they can use to tie dead things to the world of the dead, and all sorts of chaos is ensuing. And there's the Claire who are can see the future. If they all put their powers together, can see fragments of the future. And there's the royal bloodline as well. And it's just one of those books that were like, there's multiple stuff happening in different places and it all kind of weaves together, which I'm a fan of. And also, there's a cat who is sassy, and I love sassy talking cats. It's one of my favorite fantasy tropes ever. And I will never get sick of it. Give me all the cats all the time. The next book that I hope to read in March is Memnoch the Devil by Anne Rice. And I am attempting to read all of the Vampire Chronicles, especially after Anne Rice's recent passing. I was sort of sparked and inspired to continue reading her works, because I did read the original first 3 of the Vampire trilogy, or Vampire Chronicles, not trilogy, apologies. Vampire Chronicles when I was a teenager, and I enjoyed them. And I don't know why I never continued. So even though it's kind of heavy material, it's kind of dark, and there's definitely a lot of descriptions, and sometimes I have to be in like that right mindset to read it. I have to be more of like in the mood to consume it, and I have to have, oh, hi. Yes, I don't want to talk about what this is about, because it's already 5 books deep into the Vampire Chronicles, so you really have to read the first ones to start to understand where that is coming from. And the final book that I want to read in March is going to be Chai's Sweet Home Part 2. So the last time that I read one of the Vampire Chronicles, Tale of the Body Thief, I immediately after it read Part 1 of Chai's Sweet Home. And I really enjoyed it because it went from like this super dark, edgy, angsty sort of material to cute, fluffy, adorable, comforting, like wholesome material, and it kind of like brought me back into balance. So I'm excited to read it. It has got the cutest art of this little cat who finds a home with some people, and there's no plot. It's literally about him doing cute cat things with his family, and that's all I need. That's all I need is a bubble bath and a cute cat doing cute cat things. So those are the books that I hope to read in March of 2022. I think that I will be able to do it even though I'm moving, because a lot of these are like a little bit thinner books than usual, especially since like the last couple months I was reading like multiple 500 plus page books. So I think I can do this. And if I can't, you'll see some of these books repeated in my April TBR. But thank you for watching. Tell me what you're reading this month. Thanks. No cheese?
No cheese.
Well, now I can't talk because I'm too nervous.
I'll put my headphones in.
Okay, it'll make me feel better. How loud are your headphones, though? Can you still hear me? Are you pretending you can't hear me?